From the Middle is a founding member of Odd Pods Media. Hey, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to episode number 248 of From the Middle. I'm going to go ahead and say it now because Kendall's missing this week. He's fine. He's on vacation. So if you make it 40 minutes in, he's not dead. He's just gone. But he'll be back soon, we hope. He's at least going to edit this episode. In this episode, Kory and I, just the two of us, end up having a great time talking about a few different things like the Eclipse, Eminem, Connor Tomlinson and our buddy Tanner and buddy Steve from Love on the Spectrum, which is an awesome show, a little bit of what Kory's streaming, and I have an important Lego story. It's not that important, but it does make us love Lego. You're going to love this episode. Go ahead and check it out. It's faster than normal, which is going to make it great for your car ride to work. Enjoy.
Oh, for the love.
Sorry, just clearing my Mountain Dew hole.
I got my phone hole cleaned today.
That's where you keep it? You're so cerebral and you're so developed and evolved. From the Middle after dark over here.
Happy Eclipse Day.
Did you see that?
Oh, look at you. Doing all kind of fancy stuff. If you're just joining us, you should really check out our YouTube channel. Just to see what Dillon just did on the video. You're missing out if you're only listening, which is fine. We understand that we're first and foremost a podcast and secondarily a YouTube channel. But you'd really be missing out if you didn't see what was going on and what I'm looking at. Also, another plug for our YouTube channel, we have side content that we call mid-bits and little chunks of life, vlogs, Lego builds, product reviews, just little snapshots of our life. And I posted a new video there today, my review of a little Bluetooth speaker that I just got that I'm pretty excited about. So you should go over to our YouTube channel. As Dillon always says, like, subscribe, and hit that dingy bell icon so that you can be notified when things come in. But anyway, it is Solar Eclipse Day.
It is.
As of, what was this? You and I were talking about this on Saturday, and I was like, I don't know anything about this. What's this all about? What's all the fuss about? And found out that literally we are in the line of totality. And so I was like, well, I can pop outside.
Yeah.
I only didn't care when I thought I had to drive 45 minutes to go be a part of it.
In true Midwest fashion, you're like, I don't want to have to science, but if all I got to do is step out on my porch, then I can tell science.
It wasn't even science. It was, I don't want to drive an hour and a half, try to find parking in a field somewhere while all these geeks with NASA shirts. I don't know what. Yeah. But it was awesome. I'm so glad that you sold me on it.
Yeah. And I'll jump back real quick. Speaking of selling, please subscribe to YouTube. We're getting remarkably close to 500 subscribers, which is very exciting. And like Kory said, sometimes little bits of us fall out and land on YouTube, and you can watch those mid bits. And they're just little lovable chunks of us that fall out. And,
little lovable chunks
of us that fall out and land on YouTube, and you can just watch them with your eyes and squeeze them and hug them with your eyeballs and likes. But yes, I'm glad that you enjoyed and were willing to take steps to enjoy the eclipse. We did the same. We would have had to have probably driven at minimum to your house. So 30 to 45 minutes, not knowing what traffic was going to look like on the way back. My daughter was out of school today, which was nice. I took a half day, and we ended up just kind of sitting in the backyard, just in some lawn chairs, and we didn't get the full, totality, whatever, but we got to see most of it. Was cool. It's weird how dark it gets. in the middle of the day, and I was watching a thing on about the zoo. There were people at the zoo specifically there just to watch the animals to see how they would react to the eclipse. This kind of eclipse hasn't been around here for like about 200 years or something. And I guess the ostriches and elephants were had the most unique reactions, which was cool.
Wow.
Like the ostriches went back into the barn like to go to bed and get ready for bed, and the
Whoa.
elephants were like making one was like making squeaky noises or something. So kind
Whoa.
of cool, kind of weird that like how much it even impacts like animals and birds and but yeah, it's very cool kind of nerdy thing that we all did today. And unlike some of the conspiracy theories, the world didn't fall apart and no coups were thrown, no governments were tumbled, and no military reserve troops had to come out and force anybody to do anything anywhere. So it was great. We had a nice time as humanity and got to just enjoy a cool natural phenomenon. So,
Yes, I was, of course, being facetious at the top. Based on what you had told me on Saturday, I think you said that we weren't in the line of totality, that we would have to go a little further northwest toward
yeah,
like Bell Fountain. And then when I looked up our zip code, or Sherry looked up our zip code and said, no, it's going right over us. We'll be in 100%. And I
yeah.
was
I
like,
think you were actually originally, and then I think it even shifted
hmm.
slightly over like right before because science changes sometimes and
Science
normal.
can change. So I was like, heck yeah, the kids got the day off of school. Sherry
Mhm.
had thoughtfully gathered some little viewing packets with the glasses, and I happened to have a break betwixt calls between 3 and 3:30 when it was going to be at full whatever. And yeah, so we go to our neighbor's house, a bunch of kids running around, having a blast, throwing a football, enjoying, and then we're getting close, we're getting close, we're getting close. And then it was at partial, partial, partial. And then when it was at full, all the street lights came on. It was very apocalyptic. The birds stopped chirping. It was so surreal. And for a full, I don't know the total time that it was completely blacked out, you could take the glasses off then and look because there was some solar flares that stuck out past the edges, but
Right.
you were safe to view it with the naked eye. It was just so trippy that all the street lights came on. We have some Edison lights that cover our back patio as a fun little hangout area, as you know, but for the listener. And those, we saw those from across the way turn on. So it was just really fun. And then went back to my calls and resumed a normal workday. Our dear friends Pete and Sebastian both had some fun with it on their social media feeds, videos of them going, "Yeah, it's cool. Get back to work," and kind of minimizing the phenomenon. But yes, the conspiracy theorists were listen, there's some people near and dear to us that were sending emails weeks ago that were like, okay, the line is going over this many towns in the United States with the name of Nineveh and also Bethlehem. And then this number correlates to this thing in scripture that says that this is going to happen. And if you need more convincing, here's another, and just the most bizarre, loosely coupled conspiracy theories. And then the government's going to do, and I'm like, good Lord.
Yeah, it's amazing how many ends of the world are calculated when we're not when that group should already believe that they're not going to be able to figure it out anyways. So they seem to be missing kind of the big point there. Like you're not going to be able to predict the date and the time that it's going to happen. They seem to want to try to keep calculating it, which is odd.
I think
Uh,
it is that there are some end doomsdayers and end of the world guessers, but it's more like this liberal left government is going to be shut down and this is going to be the way that it happens because God is going to show them who's boss. And you're just like, I love you. And also, what?
Yes. I think this is a really great refresher if you happen to be jumping into our podcast, maybe for the first or only a couple times. We find, despite being in the middle of America, or in spite of being in the middle of America, we find ourselves often being kind of the reasonable middle of a lot of discussions. And I think some people might expect us to be saying similar things if you didn't know what our show is about. But I think pretty often we're kind of just looking for the logical, reasonable explanation. And I think something that's interesting. I mean, we had the internet and the news to tell us exactly what was going to happen, or within a small degree of variance, exactly what was coming. And I just imagine historically, anytime one of these kind of natural phenomenon happens, or we find a very large version of an animal that lives on the planet that's abnormally large or mutated, I just wonder what would have happened hundreds and thousands of years ago when those things happened with no preparation and no understanding of what was going on. Blood red skies, or eclipse, or giant squids in the ocean, like in Asia, or huge bears that are like multiple times a normal bear, just because I just imagine like what that's exactly why there's like monsters drawn in caves with rocks because and like a total eclipse like carved on a cave, like beware of the end, because those people knew nothing and had nothing to tell them and to inform them. And we still have that going on even with the news. So what are you going to do? It was really neat. I'm glad we got to see it. There won't be another one just like that until 2099, I believe, for us. So hopefully we enjoyed the heck out of it, because it'll be a while.
It's very fun. Yeah, somebody said 2044 or 45 will be another something, but then people were like, no, it's 2099. We're all going to be dead by then. So whatever.
Yeah.
Speaking of conspiracy theories, have you ever heard something, totally forgotten about it, heard it again, and then were totally shocked by the news? Let me illustrate or explain further.
That'd be helpful. Yeah.
Somebody was talking about Eminem, the rapper,
Okay.
and said, that's not his real name. And the person, this was Connor Tomlinson and his mom, Lise, in their YouTube channel, Car Rides with Connor. They were talking about Eminem.
Okay.
And she said, did you think Eminem liked the candy? And he goes, well, yeah, I guess. And she goes, no, his name's Marshall Mathers.
Mm-hmm.
And that blew my mind, because I'm pretty sure I've heard that before. That Eminem, spelled Eminem, was because his actual initials are M and M. So his rapper name, Eminem, is a nod to his initials. And I was so shocked, but then I was like, surely I've heard that before. But why am I so surprised right now?
Yeah, you'd think. I don't know that I'd ever heard that Eminem spelled out is a reference to M and M, the initials. It probably was told to me like, oh, his name's like Marshall, right? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I don't think I would have ever guessed someone's name was Eminem. Like that's just like what the parents came up with at the hospital kind of thing.
No. But like I even knew his name was Marshall Mathers, but hadn't put together Eminem phonetically as spelling out the letters of Eminem. Like every letter of the alphabet has a spelling.
Mm-hmm.
The letter has a spelling.
Yeah.
A phonetic spell. Anyway, this is so dumb, but I was like,
I'm sure this is such a hard one because I'd have to really sit and think. I don't know that I'll have an answer on this episode, but I'm sure there are things I've heard before and then have been surprised to hear again. I think more often than not, one of the more frustrating things that I find is all of the really helpful reels that teach you how to do things around your house, and then you instantly forget it.
Yeah.
And I can't ever. And then I'll see it again and go, nah. I've even had that thing come up since
Yeah.
I watched this reel probably 2 years ago and didn't do.
You know, if you're hanging a piece of artwork on a nail and you have a fork and a wire, you can easily rather than try to keep
Yes.
guessing where that nail is, you can. So maybe the better way to frame it is, what is your favorite? And this is the call to action, Middlers. What is your favorite today I learned thing?
Oh man.
Before learning that Eminem meant Eminem, mine was that L. King, the musician, was
Yeah.
Rob Schneider's daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? So
I did.
Rob Schneider and some model had the baby that became L. King, whose music I freaking love and is touring right now, I believe. So, yeah, what's your favorite today I learned? Things that you should have known by now, and it seemed like the rest of society was already aware of, and you just figured it out. I would
Yeah.
love
There's
to
a
hear
lot.
your favorite today I learned.
There's a lot of those. And if you run out or we want to revisit, there's a whole subreddit for today I learned. In fact, I saw one today that was Eclipse themed. And it's that John Quincy Adams was partially blinded himself looking directly at an eclipse in 1791. So that's not anything anyone would have known, but it is a today I learned, and an eclipse happened today. So what are the odds of that? So if we can't think of more today I learned, I'll just go find the today I learned subreddit and we'll read some and we'll have some fun with
Not to
it.
nitpick, but that just feels like interesting trivia that no one would be surprised that you didn't already know. I
Come
think
on.
my favorite today I learns are the ones that are like, the rest of society knew that Eminem meant M and M. And
I I don't think they do.
really?
I think you're giving society way too much credit. This is the whole individuals are smart, people are dumb.
Yeah, people think that politicians are lizards covered in human skin. Um,
Yeah. And here's a great example of explaining politicians. And I heard it one day. It was like I don't even remember the context for the interview, some news interview or some like political insider that wasn't a representative, but was like somebody who'd worked in DC a long time as like somebody's helper or assistant or something. This is how nonchalant they said it, and it explained politics more to me than anything ever has. Oh yeah, I don't think most people would realize how many politicians are sociopaths. And I went, oh, that makes so that makes so much sense.
uh,
That's why they don't mind lying and only care that they get caught when there's consequences.
mm,
Makes so much sense. Why they can just say what people want to hear all the time.
mm.
So again, I don't think most people that makes total sense if you say it, like Eminem. Don't think anyone's ever really sat and thought about, oh yeah, politicians are mostly sociopaths. Oh yeah, Eminem's name is Marshall.
Comment below if you just learned that Eminem, Eminem, is a spelling of M and M for Marshall Mathers. Comment below, please, so that we know. Uh,
Yeah.
okay. So speaking of Connor Tomlinson, we've talked about how I'm very susceptible, or whenever a content creator or personality that I like puts out merch, I just go buy it. I'm all for it. I like it. So this is my phone wallpaper right now. I fancy myself quite a looker. That's one of Connor Tomlinson's quotes
Yeah.
from Love on the Spectrum. I'm
Funny
also
and
wearing
true for you.
I'm also wearing my Love is a Dagger hoodie that I just got from Merch Labs. But I never got to tell the story on the podcast of what happened for Connor Tomlinson's birthday. And so if you'll oblige, I would love to tell that story. I think you've heard it, but here we
Take your
go.
podium, sir.
So, um, I had learned from watching Car Rides with Connor. Again, Connor Tomlinson is one of the protagonists of the hit Netflix show Love on the Spectrum. Connor and Tanner Smith are fan favorites on season 2 of that show. I love it. Go watch it if you haven't. It's so wholesome. It's so beautiful. It's so pure. Those people are the best of us. Anyway, go check it out. So separate from that show, Connor and his mom, Lise, have a YouTube channel, which is essentially just her driving him to work at Kroger every day and whatever he decides to talk about on the ride, which is usually historical, medieval, Vikings, dragon related facts and stuff. It's very fun. Sometimes they argue and bicker. Sometimes he's in a goofy mood. The other day they wrapped the beginning of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is what I'm pretty sure led to the Eminem thing. Anyway.
Why would that have led to the Eminem thing?
Because rapping.
Wow.
I'm talking about rap.
Loose connection. Got it.
See? So I learned that Connor's birthday was St. Paddy's Day, which is part of the reason he's named Connor, because it's an Irish name. St. Paddy's Day is an Irish name. So through the Instas, I reached out to Lise, his mom, and I said, hey, I'm a big fan. I would love to, this was like a week or two before St. Paddy's Day, I think. I said, I would love to do a piece of artwork for Connor and somehow get it to you or send you the file and you can print it off. And you can give it to him for his birthday. It's his 25th this past St. Paddy's Day. And she responded, which I was very excited about. This was sort of before they blew up. So they've now been on the Kelly Clarkson show. They've now been on umpteen podcasts. This is like we just missed getting them on our show because they were right on the cusp of blowing up, and they're now too big for us. But so before all of their blowing up, he's been on Broadway. They just went out to LA to do some side content for the Emmys. Like they're unreachable for us.
I think the same with Tanner from the same show, because he was just on Kelly Clarkson saying how much he loved Jack Black, and Jack Black recorded a video. Yeah.
So before all that, when Lise responded and said, that's so thoughtful of you. I would love to print it out and give it to him. If you could rush it and have it done by his birthday, that'd be awesome. So I'm going to share, if you're on YouTube, I'm going to share the piece of artwork that I did.
Not on YouTube. Go subscribe.
Thank you. So are you seeing, bro?
Yeah, seeing.
All right. So if you're not, this is a shameless plug for my art handle. Go follow Hubbell Arts. That's HUBBELLARTS. In 248 episodes, I really haven't plugged it that much, so allow me a little latitude for that. So anyway, this is a caricature. I call my caricatures Koricatures. Hey! This is a caricature of Connor in the costume of Callum from A Dragon Prince, which is his favorite show. He's holding a sword called Blackfire from Game of Thrones. Spilling out of his satchel there, which is actually a notebook, are donuts because he loves donuts. He works at Kroger, so that's his apron and name tag. He also loves Harry Potter. The Harry Potter glasses are flying off behind him. That little orange creature is a glow toad named Bait, also from Dragon Prince. Transformers, he made that very clear in Love on the Spectrum that he's a big Transformers fan, and Bumblebee is his favorite. So Bumblebee is sort of flying in the background to aid him on his adventures. And then the little frog, they had just told a story on Car Rides with Connor that a frog had snuck into their house and he had to clear it out of the house. So I sent it, as well as a little letter about, hey, love you, love everything you do. Here's some fun facts about me. And said part of our family had the last name Connor. I worked at a Kroger too. Just things that I think he would think are interesting and relatable. And then she found a glass frame. So the artwork's on the front and the glass frame was the letter on the back. So anytime he wants, he can flip it around and see the letter and who it's from. So that weekend, I get a FaceTime from a Georgia area code, and I'm like, what the? And I was like, oh, I guess I did put my contact info on the thing. Connor and Lise FaceTimed me, and I got to FaceTime and visit with them. And then Lise ended up sending me the video of him opening the gift. So I told her that I would not share the video or share from any of our socials the content, but I will just from here, I'll just share one small picture of Connor opening the picture. Are you seeing it, Dillon?
Mm-hmm.
In his room there, and Lise with her "Stay Classy, Planet Earth," which is his sign off on the Car Rides with Connor show, and me getting to FaceTime him, and it was just so extra special that she did that. It was really fun. It was just one of those ways that you think you can do a little something. The only way I can show my appreciation to him for being as wonderful as he is to do something I love doing, which is making art. And to know that it meant a lot to him was really fun. So that was a fun story. And
I think that's great.
I wore my Love is a Dagger hoodie tonight because I knew I was going to tell that story. So,
And if you've never watched the show, go check out Love on the Spectrum on Netflix. It's a wonderful show. There's lots of wonderful people on there. I'm blanking at the moment because I'm struggling to remember Steve, who lives in California, is one of my favorite characters on the show. What a polite gentleman. He's always so nice and friendly. I love the scenes with Steve. And also kudos to you because you basically made at minimum half a career out of kind of doing, and I mean this in the most loving, nice way, out of making hodgepodge kids drawings into professional, clean looking pieces of art. It's like, hey mom, look what I did in this drawing. It's Batman fighting a dinosaur with Harry Potter riding in on a T-Rex, and you do those drawings and they're so much fun because it's what you like to do. But also you do them in a way that any kid wishes that he could have and could have put on the fridge and it would make sense because they look so good. And so I'm sure he will treasure that for many years to come because it's so many of his favorite things. So I'm sure you made his day. And he certainly made our day getting to watch that show over and over and over again. So a really great show, really great gift. So nice job.
he's getting lots of them now. In fact, the creators of the Dragon Prince said that they are going to put a nod to him in the next season. So I don't know how big or small that nod will be. He's getting asked to be on all kinds of shows. I'd be shocked if Netflix doesn't put him and Tanner on season 3 of Love on the Spectrum, because they're such favorites of people who watched. Maybe we could get Steve. Steve doesn't seem to be blowing up in the same way that Connor and Tanner are. And maybe we could get Steve to hang out with us. He's so lovable and kind.
He is.
And that would be really cool.
Yeah, I'm always just drawn to in shows like that, the people that are just extra sweet and thoughtful and kind. And that's certainly Connor and Tanner and Steve. They're so nice. So it makes it so enjoyable to watch them. Yeah, maybe Steve would join us.
You know who else is nice? Our friends in Odd Pods Media. And we're going to hear from some of them right now.
We interrupt this program to bring you a news blast.
Michael Jackson's ghost seen at a Yankees game.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, now with a shrimp in every bite.
Lil Uzi Vert's head diamond has been sold on the dark web.
Stories like this and more can be found at the Ever Trending Story, a podcast where we peruse the news and write a fun fictional story for you.
Find us wherever you download podcasts and follow us on the socials at Ever Trending Pod, and we are proud members of the Odd Pods Media Network.
Did you hear that ad from that show?
I sure did.
They're so good. You should listen to every single one of their episodes. Go download them all because they're that great.
Sure are.
What
So
else?
the only other thing I really had was some of the things I've been streaming. And I already plugged the the product, the little speaker I got. If you want to go check out our YouTube channel and find that playlist called Midbits, it will be the newest video in our Midbits playlist. And it's a 6-minute little video. I do a little unboxing and product review. It's really fun. It's no Bose speaker, but hey, I lost my employee discount that I once had. Thanks a lot, Dillon, for moving to a different company. So what I'm streaming, Roadhouse, y'all.
Yeah, how was it?
If you're not familiar with the 1989 Patrick Swayze Roadhouse, this is, I don't even want to call it a remake or a reboot. The only thing that's really the same is that his name is the same and he's a bouncer. The setting is different.
I mean, it doesn't matter because it's just about a bouncer dealing
No,
with
it doesn't. But I think if people go into it thinking that this is going to be a Jake Gyllenhaal remake of the 1989 Patrick Swayze movie, they're going to be like, he wasn't in the Florida Keys before, and like be angry, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know how much of a cult following the 89 Roadhouse has. But this Roadhouse, Jake Gyllenhaal, super jacked. Back when I was following UFC, you know how they do those like weigh-ins?
Yeah.
Where they like weigh in, but then they do a face off with their opponent who they're going to fight the next night. And sometimes they'll slap them or spit in their face and it makes news. And well, during one of those real life weigh-ins, so like it's a regular weigh-in, and all of a sudden Jake Gyllenhaal comes out suited up like he's a fighter, and the people that were there to watch the weigh-in were like, "What's going on? Is that Jake Gyllenhaal, and is he gonna start fighting UFC?" Well, what the people didn't know was that they were shooting for this movie, and they wanted it to be as believable as possible. So they just kind of, I don't know if I'm telling the story right, but I think what happened is they didn't even tell the crowd and they let them react as the crowd would react. And he just came out and weighed in and flexed like he was gonna. Anyway, so then you learn, oh, he's filming Roadhouse. This is gonna come out in 24 in theaters and on Amazon Prime. And so then people got hyped about it after he had made this appearance on this impromptu set. Again, that could be totally, that's just my understanding of how it went down. Whatever. Super good. Conor McGregor is the bad guy that he's kind of up against. And this is in Conor McGregor's roided out uh, days, and takes place in the Florida Keys. So the setting is beautiful, just like the original. Part of the appeal of the original for me was the music of the bands that are performing at the bar that Patrick Swayze works at. They did the same thing. These are actual bands playing their actual songs on the set of the movie as though they are the live performers in the bar. Different premise, different power struggle, different dynamic, different plot, but it's a bouncer trying to clean up a rough and tumble bar in the Florida Keys with really good music. Only slight criticism. Some of the CGI seemed unnecessary. Not bad, not poorly executed. Just like, did you need to do that? Like, maybe it was a camera following him thing to make it seem like one shot or make scenes more dramatic. Just stylistically, some of that felt, but man, it was a good time. Sherry and I watched it. She tolerated it. She doesn't like rough movies with lots of fighting. Language like crazy, lots of F-bombs, no sex or nudity, but a really good romp in the Florida Keys. And I highly recommend it if you just want to be entertained for 2 hours. So go check out the new Roadhouse. I'm really excited to hear from Kendall what's going on, what went on rather at WrestleMania this past weekend. And other than that, we're still moving through Suits. We're in season 5, Sherry and I, and are enjoying it. Man, that show just keeps getting better. I know you guys have already burned through it, but that's kind of what's up.
Yeah, I have a field worker took a long vacation and went to WrestleMania, so I'm gonna have to hear from them about how that went as well, and pass along any fun notes. Yeah, suits.
Our buddy from school, Matt Ward, was there. We need to,
Oh,
yeah, he like once in a lifetime, like bought the ticket. It'd be cool to maybe have him on and talk about it.
yeah, that's awesome. Yes, we did burn through Suits. I am currently I just started season 12 of Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is the most recent season. And I really can't recommend that show to anyone who doesn't understand it's on HBO and why it would be on HBO, as far as like language and topics. But it's very funny. And there's a part of me that thinks like if there was any amount of imposter syndrome at all for Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld after Seinfeld, that they had to have totally blown that out of the water by now. Curb Your Enthusiasm has been on for 12 years. Jerry did a handful of movies. He's got another movie coming out actually. He's done a handful of movies. He did Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. I think they've proven they can create successful content and that their shtick works. But I was thinking about that, like especially for Larry David, because it was like, he wasn't young when he did Seinfeld, and then he's still doing Curb. And that's so successful. Just the amount of celebrities that want to be on that show that just show up randomly is incredible. Because it's so popular and so funny. So we were watching through Curb. I'm behind on a lot of other stuff, including some stuff that isn't traditionally as exciting, probably to most listeners, like the X-Men 97 animated series, the What If Marvel animated series.
Yeah, we talked about those.
Yeah, some of those that aren't going to probably be for most. Bad Batch, the Star Wars show on Disney Plus. I'm behind on a lot of these, and I really want to watch Shogun, which is on
Oh,
Disney.
that looks really good.
Yeah, it's on FX. If you have Disney Plus and Hulu, you can watch it on Disney Plus. I really want to watch Shogun, but I'm behind on a lot of stuff. So I have things I definitely want to watch. I got to get caught up a little bit. I don't think we ever talked about, we do talk about, we're Lego fans. You helped kind of finish setting up some shelving in the office. And so
Can you do a little pan? Can you do just a tiny?
yeah, I'll do a mid bit when I've
Okay.
got some more
All
to
right.
show. I'll do a little chunk of me. I'll let it fall out onto YouTube. And so as a Lego fan, I'm working on there was a large backlog of unbuilt things that was kind of waiting for a home. And now that I have a good space for it, stuff that was built, I'm rebuilding. I'm going back to instructions, and I'm pieces that have fallen off, and I'm fixing things that needed rebuilt. I just encountered my first set, unfortunately, that's retired, that somebody had bought, put different bags in and returned it. And so the bags that were in there are not the set at all that I had purchased thinking that I was getting. That's a much more common thing than it used to be, but it's been happening for a while. And it came from a legitimate source.
Wait, say this. I'm confused. Say that again.
So people will, unfortunately, they'll buy a Lego set that they want. They'll take it home, carefully cut it open. Usually they'll put anything in there that rattles, but they might put bags of Lego that are lesser sets, bags from cheaper sets or sets they don't want, tape it back up very carefully and return it unopened. And then a store will sell it again, thinking it's an unopened set. I just encountered my first a set that I've had for 6 or 8 years. It's retired.
Oh.
You can't buy it anymore. That I opened it up and I'm like, this is a Marvel set, and these are Batman bags, and there's no minifigs, and there's none of the pieces make sense, because they had stuck like some Lego sets that were like little kitty Batman bags
Uh,
in there. So that was kind of a bummer. It was pretty cool though. I reached out to Lego, and it's sort of like hey, there's nothing we can do. It's a retired set in that sense. Like, if we don't even have the molds and we're not making the parts anymore, we can't send you the thing. But the customer service was really cool, man. I appreciate it. They're like, we're gonna get you every part that is still made, and we'll send that to you. If you want to try to go, we'll send you the list of the parts that are missing. If you want to try to go to like Bricklink and buy a few of the pieces that are missing, or just buy the set again, you certainly have that option. And so, not that there's anything they can do because it's a really old set I bought a long time ago, but I appreciated that. And I got a follow-up email from their customer service, like, here's a list of all the parts that we don't make. So you kind of know what you're hunting for. Maybe you have them already. Maybe you can go source them online. And I appreciated that. It probably isn't the only set in my whole collection that I'll ever find that'll be like that, unfortunately. But I appreciated the effort. And so it's easy for them too to look back and know that I've never done that before. So it's not like I'm trying to
take advantage.
I'm trying to take advantage or get a hold of something that doesn't belong to me. So very cool of Lego. But I think once I can get some more stuff built, I'll try to do a mid-bit video.
That'd be awesome. And shout out to Lego on the amazing customer service. I work for a company that is very famous for surprising and delighting customers and putting a premium on customers. And so at work, we talk a lot about other examples of companies providing just above and beyond customer service. We've told some examples on this podcast before. Branded bills sent out, just didn't even ask for any proof that I had lost one component of a hat, sent me a whole new $50 hat. Keurig back in the day used to send us machine after machine after machine when ours would, like, even out of warranty, when ours would die, or we didn't descale the first one like we should have. And so anyway, I just love when companies just go above and beyond, and Lego certainly isn't hurting for the cash. But it's really cool of them to do that. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, I admitted, like any kind of adult fan of Lego, I'm like, hey, I get it. This was in my backlog of something that I was, waiting to build. This isn't something still in stores that it's on a shelf that I can just go, hey, can you exchange it for me?
Yeah.
And they knew the same thing. So it's very cool. I'll try to spin up some Lego content. It's been a lot of fun since the shelves went up, that I've been able to build a lot faster and add some stuff. And I'm kind of rotating in, like, I'll do a Star Wars set. Now I'm going to do a couple superhero sets. Now I'm going to do a city set. Now I'm going to rebuild the pirate ship. Now I'm going to, it'll be, if anybody's into that kind of thing, we'll throw the content out there.
Well, now that we're into the high 30s, early 40s if anybody's wondering why we haven't let Kendall talk yet, he's actually on vacation with his family, so we gave him the week off. Well, we sorted it. He's still gonna splice together the episode and post it to YouTube for us once his kiddos are in bed, but he agreed to do that. So yeah, we're giving him the week off and letting him enjoy. Got some video from him where he was staying at a hotel that overlooked a AAA ballpark. His kids were swimming while they watched a baseball game right from the ledge. So I don't want to steal his thunder. I'll let him tell that story when he comes back, but really excited for him. And again, we need to hear from him what happened at WrestleMania. Any interesting notes from that?
Yeah, he's doing far better than us this week. So we'll just go ahead and keep talking. It would have been funny if somebody was watching YouTube and he was just in the other box the whole time, like,
yeah, exactly. Trying to get a word in edgewise.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you have anything else, my brother?
I don't think so. I think we can leave any of the extra bullet points. We rarely do a short one. And this feels like a perfectly fine place to cut this off without Kendall and leave it as the nice discussion that it was.
That's great. And I just want to say thanks for listening. And special shout out to our boy John. We were texting with him earlier. He's a Midler regular listener, and he's just so nice. And he makes me want to do a better job on this podcast.
He makes me want to be a better man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So shout out to John. You know who you are. We love you, buddy. Thanks for tuning in. If you have facial hair and are a guy, I mean, you could, whatever. You should check out Artius Man. They're a sponsor of ours. Artius Man is ARTIUSMAN.com. It's a Central Ohio company right here in my small little town. A friend of mine, Jeff, runs the place. All of the products are made with natural ingredients. So you're supporting local, you're supporting natural, and you're supporting smelling freaking great because some of their scents are amazing. One of them is not good. No, I'm just kidding. Most of them are amazing. One of them's fine. You should play that little game for yourself and figure out which is which. But check out Artius, man. Amazing men's grooming products, as well as shampoos and conditioners and body washes. And then another thing that they make with their essential oils are these soy blend wood wick candles. They got 3 wicks in them. They're such good scents. You're really going to love them. I highly recommend you check them out. And then they have some swag, apparel-y type stuff too, hats and shirts and wooden combs and ditty bags and whatnot, shaving kit bags. Check them out. We're really glad and happy that they support us. Supporting them with your purchases actually gives us a small kickback past a certain threshold, so it supports us indirectly. So you win, they win, we win. We would really appreciate it if you go buy the love in your lives that are men with facial hair and bodies. Go buy them some stuff. It would be great. And when you do, use promo code The Middle at checkout. That's all caps, The Middle at checkout to get 25%, Dillon. 25% off of your order. That's almost a quarter. And that'd be great for you. And you should
Only the best discounts for our listeners. That was like 248 great reasons to go over to Artius Man and fill up your cart. I think that's it.
I'm off to Seattle. We'll see you guys next week. I might have some interesting stories from that excursion. And thanks for tuning in. We love y'all. Please comment, send ideas in the description below. We have a linkTree, and you can find all the ways to get a hold of us. We love emails. We love voicemails. We love texts. Reach out. We love hearing from you. It's our fave. Bye.
Right.